What's up guys, Cyrus here, and I am finally back. Today I'm going to be reviewing what is my 2021 disc of the year, the Latitude 64 Royal Line Grand Trust. Let's go. So guys, like you heard, I'm back. It's been a while. Just a little update before we get into the Trust review. Over the summer, I played a lot of tournaments. I did really well actually. I won 4 advanced tournaments, one of which was a C tier, 2 B tiers, and 1 A tier. So that was actually really fun. I rose my rating by around 50 points this year alone. And yeah, it was really fun. I was really psyched with my play. With that, let's get into this review. And like I said in the introduction, I love this disc. This disc really like consolidated some bag problems, not problems, but it really kind of made my bag more unified almost, even though I really only have one in the bag. This is the one I have in the bag. You can see by just how faded the stamp is and how like worn the rim is, that this thing has seen a lot of throws. Now, I put it in my bag pretty much right away when we got it, sometime midsummer or whenever they came out, and I have loved it ever since. The Trust in the hand is a beadless profile with kind of like a sloped rim. It's similar to an EMAC, but it's kind of like a EMAC like gatekeeper compass mashup. It's really kind of like the best of all those worlds. It's a little deeper than the EMAC, which I like because I have really massive hands, and because of that, the small rim on the EMAC has always kind of been a little tough for me. I still have 2 in the bag actually, one that's flippier than the Trust and one that's more overstable. The Trust, we'll get to the flights in a bit, but the Trust, it fills that just like workhorse mid-range slot for me. This thing is so dependable on any line you put it on, but it's different from my Fuse that's also like that, but the Fuse can shape more kind of like turning type shots or hyzer flip shots, but it can't really stand up in any wind, and I use that more for in the woods. The Trust, I can throw in like wide open like rips like straight at the basket, and I know it. I can trust it to go straight. Wonder where they got that name. The Trust is literally so trustworthy, and that's why I love it. Like I said though, it's really kind of neutral in flight. No matter how much or what, I guess it does matter how much hyzer, but regardless of if I throw it on hyzer, flatter, and hyzer, it's not going to do a lot of hooking and fading and turning in left and right angles. It's going to really try to stay neutral, which is pretty unique, and it's something that I've really looked forward to. It's why I've always loved throwing putters, and the Trust has been what I've been able to do in the mid-range slot with. I've always loved the way that players like Paul Macbeth can really just absolutely smooth out a mid-range and not having to like hyzer flip something just to get it to go straight. With my game, I've always kind of wanted to be able to throw everything flat and then see the disc react accordingly, but I've kind of resulted in my mid-range game to a lot of hyzer flips, just because with different EMAC trues, though I love them, like there's still 2 in my bag, I hadn't really ever found one that I could release flat and hard and count on it not to turn or fade, really. The EMAC has so much glide, and it's kind of like a higher speed mid-range, even though the numbers, by the way, the numbers of the Trust are 5502, just like the EMAC. But to me, the Trust is just a little bit slower, where the EMAC almost feels like it has 6 glide sometimes with how far it goes. It does a lot of, for me at least, like hyzer flipping to a little turn to a little fade. And of course, it depends on what plastics you have. But the Trust really just can like, it just like holds a frozen rope. One hole that I use it on every single time. Unless we have a straight headwind, then I'll throw an Opto-X Explorer on this hole. But it's hole 27 at Blue Ribbon Pines, my local course. where the Majestic is if you've never seen it. Depending on what pin, it's anywhere from 315 to 330, I think. I'll put the U-disc thing on the screen, but it's dead straight and it's an island green, so I need to really trust that my disc is not gonna fade too far off left or right. And I love the trust. Like, I kid you not, so many times this year at leagues and whatnot, I've stepped up there with the trust and just ripped it flat and like at like just the middle of the green, and it just like, people are like, oh, like hang on, and it just, like, because of how hard I'm throwing it, like, this thing can handle torque. In order for me to get it to go straight, I do have to rip it a little bit, but that's why I love it so much, because when I do rip it, it does just hold so straight. And keep in mind, like, I'm not Paul Macbeth. I'm not out here throwing 70-mile-an-hour backhands or something, right? I am 949 rated right now, and so I'm not like absolutely sending this thing, but I'm not throwing it like soft either to get these flights, and that's what I love. I love to be able to throw discs as hard as I want to and not have to worry about like whatever kind of limits they might hold. And the truss really just lets you go all out. So I guess now is a good time to get into the flights. Like I said, when I throw the truss flat, depending on how hard I throw it, it could tail off a little bit. But when I throw it flat and hard, this thing just goes so straight. It's so fun to throw. That's why I love it. It's so fun to throw. On an Anheuser or a slight Annie, I can really shape some shots with this. It's never gonna like burn over by any means. It might fade out a little bit depending on how much angle I put on it, but it's really like, put it on a little Annie and it'll just kind of drift to the right. Same with Heisers. There's a lot of holes that are straight for the most part, or they might have like an obstacle on the left side of the fairway that if I just throw the truss out to the right a little bit or straight with a touch of Heiser, I know it's gonna go straight and like kind of push left but not hook left. So the truss, because it's just so all around, is why I love it so much. And that's why I only have one in the bag. Like, I have so many cool truss as my backups. Like, this one is probably the coolest one I've ever seen. Like, it's mostly white. I picked this out in Emporia when I was there for Junior Worlds. Got 7th, let's go. Anyways, when I was there for Junior Worlds, they had 2 of them like this. One was more white, but I like the little blue in it. I have so many cool backup truss, but this one that I've almost lost, that has the stamp coming off, hasn't changed since I've started throwing it. And I guess I haven't really gotten to this yet, but the truss is part of the new Royal line from Latitude. And with this line, they've really innovated how discs are molded. I'm not just saying that, because if you feel this plastic, it feels incredible, but the lack of flashing and the durability you can feel, and that this is a testament to, like, literally there's grass stains on this thing and it still does not flip. It's straight when it starts and it's straight now. So I don't know what else to say to describe how durable it is, but that is enough. This thing is so durable and reliable that I only need one in my bag. So like I said, I have a Lucidex Glimmer EMAC that I use for flat to fading shots, but this thing is right in the middle, and it is my workhorse. Between this and my old Jesper Fuse, I throw those 2 mids so much, and it has really made me love throwing mid-ranges because it's so reliable and so pinpoint accurate. Now with these first runs, all of them I've seen are bored flat, but they've still got like a little taper on the edge just because of the mold, but the flight plate itself is really flat up top, and I love that feeling in the hand. I've never been like a fan of domey mid-ranges, so the fact that these first runs came out a little flatter is just another great selling point for me. They feel really great in my hand, and like when I'm going to power up on a mid, because I throw them all with a fan grip, like a modified fan grip like this, the flat profile really just feels like it comes out like super clean and biting through the air. I have not thrown the first runs actually, or no, I have not thrown the stock runs actually, nor have I felt them, so I don't know if they have a little more dome, but the first runs really came out really nice and straight and torque resistant, whereas the prototypes that came in the Royal Box, the Royal Box 2 I believe, you can watch my unboxing of it up there, those were more overstable from what I've heard, kind of like just a tick up, and had just like a slight little rise in the middle. So maybe if I did want to knock one of those Emacs out and beg a prototype truss for a little more overstability, I could. And that's another great thing with Latitude. I'm sure they're doing so much innovating. Who knows if we'll see a new plastic blend in the Royal line in the future, or if we'll just see some runs come out more overstable. But you know that if you get a first run truss, it's gonna be straight and it's gonna last you for so long. And like I said, this is my disc of the year. Oh wait, the Emac Judge came out this year. That's awkward. I putt with the Emac Judge and I got really good at putting this year. No, this is my disc of 2020 because the Royal Box came out in 2020. The Emac Judge is good this year. This is my disc of last year technically, so thank you. I love the Emac Judge. Actually, part of my success this year, quick story time also, has been largely due to my putting. I have so many videos and countless memories of just like huge putts that I've made, and before I was putting with deputies, and those are great putters for a lot of people. But for me, I never really could trust them because of their flight characteristics, but the Emac Judge has been so great for me. So shout out Dynamic for coming out with those. Also, shout out for supporting me. Let's go. You guys are so kind. I could not have done what I did this year without you. Let me know what you guys think of the truss down in the comments below. This disc has really, really elevated my game this year, and it's hard to believe because you're like, bro, there's so many straight mid-ranges out there. Like, we get it. Like, the Trust is the new one, so you like it. But no, like, I'm not joking when this disc has got me so many birdies this year, and it's upped my confidence in so many ways. So the Latitude 64 Trust, if you have not tried it, you must. So we are gonna wrap this up, guys. I hope you really liked this. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments of the Trust or any of the other Royal Line discs. I also got one of the new Kristen Tatar Graces in, and that thing is sick. A little dome, a little overstable for a Grace. Oh man, I love that. So maybe let me know if you guys want a comparison between first run Graces and the Kristen Grace. So maybe I can get that done for you guys too. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been my review of the Latitude 64 Trust, and we'll see you guys next time. Alright guys, make sure you subscribe down below, leave a comment, leave a like. Make sure you go check out the coverage of the Minnesota Amateur Disc Golf Championships on Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guys channel, featuring yours truly throwing some good shots and some bad shots. So anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Be dynamic. Peace.